Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Okay, we'll go ahead and start. We'll read now from verse 25 and we will read until verse 28 of chapter 4. Okay? Daivameva pare yajñam yoginah paryupasate brahmagnava pare yajñam yajñenevopajuhvati shrotraadinindriyanyanye samyamagnishu juhvati shabdadin vishayananye Indriyagnishu juhvate sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyama yogagnau juhvati jnana deepite dravya yajnastapo yajnaha yoga yajnastatha pare Swadhyaya Jnana Yajñascha Yataya Samshitavrataha. Okay, so we are in the section where Sri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna 12 yajnas. How did he start this process? He said, true knowledge is seeing in action in action. What does that mean? Seeing the actionless self amidst all action, realizing that we are that actionless self. And so he started with this, and then he said, the one who has this vision, which is called Samyak Darshana, the one who has this vision, they see the self in everything. How? Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi. They see the self as Brahmarpanam, the instrument that is offered. Brahmahavihi, that very offering itself. Brahmagnau, the very fire is Brahman. Brahmanahutam, the one who is offering is Brahman. Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, that which is to be attained is Brahman. By Brahma Karma Samadhina, by the one whose mind is absorbed in Brahman. So the one who has this knowledge sees the self in everything, understands that they are that pure awareness, consciousness in which this entire world is experienced. Now, what are some practices that we can do in our lives to come to this state? So to say this or to elaborate on this, Sri Krishna has given 12 yajnas. Now, first we'll review what we had seen before, and I'll share my screen, and then we will come to continue where we left off, okay? Just so that everything is clear in everyone's mind. And don't worry about the highlighted things now. I will tell you what they are later on, okay? So in this chart, you will see the number of the yajna, the name of the yajna, the offerer, who the yajna is, who's doing the yajna, who's performing it, what they offer, what is the fire, and what is the application. So last time we saw that the name of the yajna, number one, is Deva Yajna. Who is offering this? Karmakandi. Karmakandi means the one who seeks prosperity in this world, the one who seeks health, wealth, etc. So what do they offer? They offer havis, oblations, they offer the rice, they offer mantra, they offer all of these things. And where do they offer it? To the Vedic fire. So what is this Daiva Yajna for us now? This is the practice of prayer. So when we are praying for ourselves or for the well-being of others, this is called Daiva Yajna. What puja that we do, prayer, homa, all of those things will come under Daiva Yajna. The second one we saw is Brahma Jnana Yajna. Who does this? The knower of Brahman. Means the one who has understood that they are Brahman. Not just a feeling, but the one who has clear understanding. And what do? They offer their individuality in the fire of Brahman. So this process is nididhyasanam, or contemplation. And about this process, I have elaborated last class, what it means to contemplate, to offer our individuality to totality. This is the second yajna. The third yajna here is called samyama yajna. Samyama means restraint or control. And who does this? The yogis. And what do the yogis do? They offer their sense organs into the fire of restraint. So we saw this, all of their sense organs, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, the sense organs of knowledge, jnanendriyas, they offer it into dharana, dhyana, samadhi. These terms also we saw last time. This is the practice of sense control. This is a yajna. So when we are able to take our senses away from the world and put it in that object, in a divine object, be it an Ishta Devata, a chakra, or even the non-dual self. When we are able to do that, then that is called Samyama Yajna. Okay? Now, the fourth one is Vishaya Grahana Yajna. Who does this? All of us do it, right? All of us do it. And what are we offering? We're offering sense objects to the fire of the sense organs. So all of the sense objects, we are offering to the sense organs and saying, you can see this, you can hear this, you can smell this, you can taste this, right? And the idea is that we become selective and we become a master of what we're offering to them. So I only offer what my senses should see, what my senses should engage in, and how much they should engage in. So how much coffee or tea I need, that much only I should intake. How much sleep I need to have, that much I should do. So this is offering the sense objects to the sense organs. Vishaya Grahana. Then in number 5, the fifth yajna, we saw Atma Samyama Yoga Yajna. This again is performed by yogis. And whenever we are trying to master our senses and mind, we are yogi or aspiring yogis. Huh? So don't just think this is some yogi far away. When we are trying to do this, we are also trying to be a yogi. Now, what is the offering? All the functions of the senses and prana, all the functions of the organs of perception, organs of action, the entire subtle body is offered in the fire of total self-control. Total self-control. This is Atma Samyama Yoga. What is this? This is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And not just any Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it's Jnana Deepite. So it's very, very clear. If you see the verse in verse number 27, it's Jnana Deepite. It is backed by knowledge. So now there was a question last week about what is the difference, between number 3 and 5. So I've put this all here so it becomes clear, right? So first, number 2 is very clear. It's Nididhyasana. Number 3 is it's only the Jnana Indriyas that are being offered into Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So there's some restriction here. Just the Jnana Indriyas are being offered in the fire of restraint. When you come to this one, Atma Samyama Yoga Yajna, it's all the Indriyas, all the pranas, right? So you will see in verse 27, Sarvanindriya. So all the Indriyas, Karmani. Karma here doesn't mean karma, it means functions. All the functions of the Indriyas, all the functions of the pranas, you completely offer that. And that's why this is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Because it's a total restraint of everything. This is also a yajna. So these 5 we have seen. Then in the next, I'll just touch upon 6 and 7, then the rest we will talk about, right? In the verse to come. 6 and 7. So 6 we saw, now this is on verse 28. Verse 28, there are 5 yajnas. What are the 5 yajnas? Dravya yajna. That's all of us when we offer our wealth and materials in the fire of totality, means to serve others, right? And this is the practice of charity. And this I had said, it is not we are offering our things. It is Bhagavan, you are offering your things to all, to you. You are offering your things to you. Because in true sense, Bhagavan or Atman is the only doer. And in true sense, everything is only Atman or pure consciousness. And everyone is only Atman. So whether we say it's consciousness, offering consciousness to consciousness, or Bhagavan, you offer what's yours to you, this is what we mean by Dravya Yajna. Not that I offer my wealth, but you offer what is yours to you. Then Tapo Yajna, we saw fasting and other forms of austerity. We offer that to the fire of seeking. Then today we will see 8, Yoga Yajna, that the yogis do, Yama, Niyama, Asana, etc., Pranayama, and they offer that into the fire of seeking. This is the practice of yoga. Swadhyaya Yajna is done by all of us, and it's the chanting of the Vedas or sacred scriptures, again offered to the fire of seeking, practice of chanting and recitation. And then Jnana Yajna. Here it's understanding the meaning of the scriptures, the practice of study and self-inquiry. Okay, so now, and then the other 2 we will see later. First, I will elaborate now on 8, 9, and 10, because that one we have not seen in detail. So I am in verse 28. So what is this yoga yajna, right? So we saw dravya yajna, giving charity, tapo yajna, conserving our energy by whatever practice we have, whatever is our tapasya. If our tapasya is being silent for some time, abstaining from devices, sleeping early, waking up early, fasting. If our tapasya is eating on time, whatever that is, that conserves our energy, and helps us to function in an optimum level that is called tapas. That's called tapas. So whenever we do that and we keep that discipline, that is the practice of tapas. In the Sanskrit word, we saw this last time, tapa. Tap means to burn. So it's painful to do these practices because we have to do what's right instead of what we like. But the outcome of tapas is that we start to like what is right. So before tapas, there's a conflict. I like to do this, but this is right. So I'm constantly in a conflict. I like to do this, but this is the right thing. But after tapas, what I like is the right thing. It becomes very natural for one to do the right thing. This is the outcome of tapas. Now, yoga. Yoga means that mastery of the senses and the mind. And we all know that there are the 8 limbs of yoga, Patanjali Maharishi's Yoga Sutras. In the other yajnas, we covered things like dharana, dhyana, samadhi. We also covered pratyahara. So here, the stress can be in yama and niyama. Many times in our Sanatana Dharma, people ask, do you have any do's and don'ts? Are there any do's and don'ts or laws of Sanatana Dharma? For us, that is the yamas and niyamas. So yamas are 5, ahimsa, which means non-violence, satyam, truthfulness, brahmacharya, moderation or celibacy, asteya, non-stealing, and parigraha, non-hoarding. And then niyamas, shocham, cleanliness, santosha, contentment, tapaha, which we just talked about, tapas, swadhyaya, which we will also talk about, the study of scriptures, and ishvara pranidhana, surrendering to the Lord. So all of these are part of yoga. So in other words, when a seeker becomes very aware in their transactional life, we are aware in what sense? Not to hurt or harm anybody, ahimsa. Not to hurt or harm anyone, even in thought, not just not saying negative things, not just not doing negative things, but even in thought, not to have that thought of negativity against another being. Because when I do that, I am having a negative thought about myself. That being is nothing or no one other than myself. So, ahimsa, no negativity even here. Satyam, truthfulness. And these will be expounded later in the Bhagavad Gita. But in short, Satyam means my thoughts, my words, and my deeds are in one line. They're in one line. Not that I'm thinking something, but doing something else. Satyam, people who practice a life of Satyam, they're very transparent. They don't really need to hide anything because everything is true. And people who practice a life of Satyam are very easygoing. You know why? Because when we lie, we have to remember all the different lies we told and to whom we told the lies and which area and what lie. It's quite stressful. So people who lie are very stressed because they forget. How do you keep track of so many lies? But the ones who live the life of truth, they're so easygoing because what you see is what you get. There's no lie. Then brahmacharya. Brahmacharya here means moderation. And again, being very aware with the things that we consume and partake in. Because we understand that the mind is very sensitive and it takes in all kinds of things from all directions. Asteya, non-stealing, means non-stealing, not taking things which are other people's possessions. And aparigraha, non-hoarding. Many of us do this. We keep hoarding and hoarding and hoarding. Even if we don't need, we take. Buy one, get one free. So we just buy it to get one free, and then it's lying in our closet and we don't even know what to do with it. Aparigraha means if we do not need it, don't even buy it. It's okay if it's cheap. Don't worry about it. Let it go. And aparigraha means that if we go to a buffet that's $8.99, don't feel like you have to eat 2 plates of food. It's okay. Just eat what you need, right? It's okay, because this is also Bhagavan. Your body is Brahman. So aparigraha, even if there's opportunity to take more, take less. To take less when there is less, it's very easy. But when there's an opportunity, when there is so much and you take less, this is something. This is really something. Because people can get quite tempted to take so much and to buy so much and consume so much. And that is Black Friday. No? Aparigraha, the day when we can practice aparigraha most. Okay. Then niyamas, this we know, shaucham, cleanliness in not only our homes, but our bodies. Our homes are like a temple of Bhagavan, and this is also a temple of Bhagavan. So cleanliness here, and even the mind also. Santosha, contentment with whatever we get, whatever we receive, is a gift. It's prasada. Whether we think it's good or it's bad, that's not the point. Whatever we receive, it's a gift. Even if it's criticism, it's a gift. If it's praise, it's a gift. And tapa, swadhyaya, tapa we have done, swadhyaya we will do, and Ishvara pranidhana, surrender to Ishvara, surrender to Bhagavan. Knowing that there's no need for me to actually think, conceive, and plan my own desires. Surrender myself to Bhagavan's desire. Surrender ourselves to Bhagavan's desire. Let him win. It's more fun. Okay. Now, Swadhyaya. What is this Swadhyaya? Now, in the Vedic term, or in the Vedic sense, Swadhyaya means Veda Abhyasa. It means studying the Vedas, how chanting them. So chanting the Vedas, chanting them, practicing them, recitation. This is called Swadhyaya. Reciting, chanting, repeating them, memorizing them, all the things that have to do with the words, holding the words, chanting the words, remembering the words, that is called Swadhyaya. Like on Saturday, we had the very beautiful opportunity to do the Abhyasa of Gita, Bhagavad Gita, right? We did the whole chanting of Bhagavad Gita. That's called Swadhyaya. Now, there is a whole science to sound. Even if we do not know the meaning, the sound can be so incredibly powerful, because different sounds generate different vibrations in our body. And I'm sure I mentioned this to you about Dr. Masaru Emoto. He did a beautiful experiment where he exposed water to different kinds of sounds. So water to healing music, and then water to heavy metal music. Water to words like gratitude versus water to words like you make me sick. Waters to something uplifting versus water to something very, very negative. And what he found is when he froze the water crystals, the ones that were exposed to good vibrations and good words and good sounds, their crystals were very beautifully formed. But the ones that were exposed to all negative sounds and disturbing thoughts, their crystals didn't look nice at all. And so what he showed through his experiment is what our rishis knew thousands of years ago, that sound has an impact on the molecular structure of water. Not only that, that means that sound has an impact on our body, because our body is 70% water, and an impact on our mind. So we will feel that when we have chanted something, when we've recited something, the mind and body feel different right away. You don't even have to wait. Even while chanting, the mind and body feel different. What to talk of after chanting? That chanting, that Swadhyaya, it has an effect on our being. And that's why even without knowing the meaning, it's very powerful. So many times people say, when they're kids, teach them the meaning, teach them the meaning. Just let them chant and let them feel the power of the words. There's a famous pilgrimage place in Maharashtra, Pandharpur, right? So in this place now, what they do when they're going there is they chant the name of Vitthal, right? Vitthala, Vitthala. Now, you just chant that name. You will feel that in your chest, in your stomach area, there's the vibration is changing. You try it, you will see it. And there are actually scientific proofs that those who chant the name of Vitthal Bhagwan and go to Pandharpur, their heart becomes stronger. Their bodies and minds become stronger. This just that one name of Vitthal. This is the power. And that's why when we go to Vaishno Devi also, right? We chant Mata's name. That whole thing changes everything. It gives you more energy to climb up the steps. So when you go on pilgrimage, now I know some of you are going, I'm also going, chant Bhagwan's name because it will give you power. It will give you power to move. Swadhyaya. So all that repetition helps us in our daily life. And now also this Swadhyaya is nothing but affirmations. Now it's called affirmations. Huh? You can do it. You're okay. You're courageous. I am strong. I am bold. All of this is Swadhyaya only. And this has an effect on the mental and physical system. Now, Jnana Yajna. What is this Jnana Yajna? Jnana Yajna here means not only practicing, reciting, repeating, but knowing the meaning of it. So Jnana Yajna means inquiry into the meaning. So it's not just chanting the Upanishads, but understanding what is the deep meaning behind all that they're saying. So here you can put Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana also. Shravana, listening to the meaning of the scriptures, like what we're doing now is Jnana Yajna. Gurudev used to call his discourses Jnana Yajna. Jnana Yajna. Where there's Shravanam, where lots of Mananam or reflection is also going on. And for the people who are aware, they're reveling in that knowledge, so Nididhyasana is taking place. And therefore, his discourses were a field of Jnana Yajna. So these 5 yajnas, Yatayaha means the people who strive. Yati is the one who strives. The people who strive, the ascetics, they do these yajnas, samshita vrataha, keeping them as vows. In some cases, the samshita vrataha is also seen as a separate yajna. But here I'm taking it as how Gurudev is taking, that they perform it with vows, with such rigid vows. Samshita means sharp. Samshita, very sharp. Vrata means vow. Vrata comes from the root word vra, means to choose. So the idea is that when people take up these yajnas, they make a vow and they say, I will do this yajna. For example, dravya, charity. I will donate monthly. Now they have that kind of monthly donation. I will donate every month. And this is their vrata. If they take up tapas, then tapas can be that every morning I will wake up at this time. And they become very, very firm with these vows. Or yoga yajna, yama niyamas, right? So I will practice shocham, keeping the environment clean, keeping the home clean, or aparigraha. I will live very, very simply. I live on just few clothes, few things, few types of food. I will practice that aparigraha. And Swadhyaya, or I will chant this every Saturday. I will do Hanuman Chalisa, or every Friday I'll do Lalita Sahasranama, or I'll take up some chanting, and they take up that. Or Jnana Yajna. Every Monday I'll attend Gita class, right? No matter what happens, I'll attend. So take these up as vows. Vows are very powerful because the person who's taking them, they bind themselves to it. So there's a power. When somebody binds us to something, we don't want to be bound. We feel like stuck. When somebody says, you have to do this, we don't like it. But in vrata, in vows, we have the freedom to say, I take up this vow and I bind myself to it. And when we take up these vows of these yajnas, the idea is to seek Bhagavan's praise, blessings, take it as a firm resolve, and stick to it. Stick to it. Our culture, so beautiful because there was no need for a contract. Oh, now if you have to enter into agreement with somebody, you have to, this much paperwork you have to fill out, isn't it? This much paperwork has to be filled out. I will commit to this. I will do that. I will do this. Everywhere we go, everything we do, we have to sign so much paperwork. And to even look at that paperwork is a big job, big deal. There are lawyers, professionals who will look at the paperwork. Back in the day, what did they have? Vrata. In Mahabharata, when Bhima and Arjuna took the vow to avenge, especially Bhima, when he took the vow to avenge all of the Kauravas, what happened? It was done. Right when Bhima spoke it, it was done. It was so much done that Dhritarashtra couldn't sleep anymore. He couldn't sleep anymore because he knew that when Bhima said something, Bhima will do it. When Draupadi said something, she will do it. When Sri Krishna says something, he will do it. So nobody needed paperwork, signing, compliance. Nobody needed anything like that. Everybody just made firm vows and they stuck to it. It's called vrata. So imagine how beautiful society would be if we all were very aware of our words and what we said, we actually did and practiced. Samshita vrataha. Okay. Now, more yajnas are being taken up. We will see now number 11, verse number 29. Apane juhvati pranam.
Apane juhvati pranam.
Prane panam tatha pare.
Prane panam tatha pare.
Pranapanagati rudva.
Pranapanagati rudva.
Pranayama parayanaha.
Pranayama parayanaha.
Apane juhvati pranam. Prane panam tatha pare. Pranapanagati rudva. Pranayama parayanaha. Okay, what does Sri Krishna say here? Apane, apane, in the incoming breath, juhvati pranam, sacrifice the outgoing breath. Apana is the incoming breath. Prana is the outgoing breath. Then prane, in the outgoing breath, apanam tatha pare. The ingoing breath, tatha pare, means also tatha, should be sacrificed, right? And apare means others. Now, this is a different category of people. Prana apana gati, the courses of the outgoing and incoming breaths, rudva, restraining them, pranayama parayanaha. This is what is done by those who are parayana, solely absorbed in pranayama, the restraint of breath. So what does this mean? This yajna, now number 11, is called pranayama yajna. Okay? Now first let's see why this yajna is there. Then we will see all the details of this yajna. Why is pranayama important? In our Shastra, in our scriptures, we have 5 sheets, right? We are all aware we have 5 sheets. The first sheet, the grossest sheet, is the Annamaya Kosha, the food sheet. Then Pranamaya Kosha, little subtler. Then Manomaya Kosha, the mind sheet. Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellectual sheet. Then Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss sheet. Now, in between the food sheet and the mental sheet is this prana. The mind and prana are linked. Because from the food sheet to come to the mind is very difficult. But from the body, to use the body to control my mind, it's hard. But there we are given this pranayama, this pranas. Pranas means the physiological functions that govern certain processes, that govern, let's say, inhalation, exhalation, that govern apana, excretion, vyana, circulation, samana, digestion, udana, reverse processes. These physiological functions are called prana. They're also known as vital airs. Now, these pranas, specifically inhalation, exhalation, they are related to the mind so well. When the mind is calm, we notice that the breath is also calm. When the mind is excited, the breath is also moving fast, excited, right? And when you run, and your mind is like going, your body's going, you get out of breath. When the mind becomes angry, or the pranas is also very fast, very quick. When the mind is dull and sleepy, the pranas are also heavy. So the mind and pranas are very directly linked. And sometimes it's hard to control this mind. So what the yogis say is, control your prana. Because when we slow down our breathing, we slow down the mind. When we calm our breath, we calm the mind. And that's why when we practice any type of contemplation or meditation, one of the exercises we do is this body scan and just focus on the breath for some time to let that mind really, really calm down. So thus the role of pranayama. It helps us to master the mind. And that's why it's also one of the limbs of the Yoga Sutras. Now, how do we restrain these pranas? So here it says, in the incoming breath, you offer the outgoing breath. What does that mean? When we breathe in, hold the breath, right? Offer the outgoing breath means you seize the outgoing breath, you hold it. That's called antah-kumbhaka. So in the incoming breath, you hold it, you seize the outgoing breath, that is offering the outgoing into the incoming breath. That's called antah-kumbhaka, holding it. Then in the outgoing breath is happening and you seize the incoming breath. that is called now Bahya Kumbhaka. And I just did it, I feel already different. But you will see when you do it, you will feel the difference in your system. But when we practice this type of breathing, which by the way should be practiced with somebody who is proficient in Hatha Yoga. I will share with you what we can do on our own, but these kinds of things, holding the breath and all of that, should be practiced with somebody who is very much well aware of that science, because it can alter so many things. It'll alter your whole system, your food intake, your sleep, all kinds of things will happen. So do it only with somebody who knows very well. But that is the idea of this offering. And so when we restrain our breathing, that is also a yajna. And this yajna is meant for those who are absorbed in this science of pranayama. So by this restraint, we are doing pranayama yajna. Now, an easier way to do pranayama yajna. What can we practice in our daily life? Simple two things. The first thing is just observe your breathing. Just observe your breath. This is called prana vikshana. This, in fact, is one of the highest modes of pranayama, is just observing one's breath. Just observe it. Automatically, we will slow down. If that becomes a little bit difficult, then you manually just breathe deeply. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. That's number 2. Just manually, you breathe deeply. But that breathing is a deep breathing. When you inhale, your stomach and your chest expands. When you exhale, your chest contracts, your stomach contracts. So this can also be pranayama yajna. One more meaning I will give you. This is for day-to-day life. One more meaning I can give you is pranayama yajna in our daily life means pause. Means pause. It means that whenever we are stressed, or whenever we are tensed, or we're anxious and there's so many things going on, pause. Just stop for a moment. Just stop. Stop doing all of that, because we will make it worse. We'll make it worse. Lots of times we are just doing things that don't need to be done at all, or overdoing, right? That's what Guru Dev says. All of us are just doing and overdoing, and then we have to end up undoing, and then nothing becomes done. This is what happens. So pause. Whenever we are in those moments of pressure, tension, anxiety, just stop for a moment. Just breathe. Feel what it's like to breathe. And that can also be our pranayama yajna. And even just that little bit of pause can work wonders. Can give our mind so much clarity, so much thinking. Take a break. Take a break when it's required. Pranayama. Okay. Now, next is the 12th yajna. Now let us see what that is. Apare niyataharaha.
Apare niyataharaha.
Pranan praneshu juhvati.
Pranan praneshu juhvati.
Sarve pyete yajna vidaha.
Sarve pyete yajna vidaha.
Yajna kshapita kalmashaha.
Yajna kshapita kalmashaha.
Apare niyataharaha. Pranan praneshu juhvati. Sarve pyete yajna vidaha. Yajna kshapita kalmashaha. So what does this verse say? Yajna number 12. Apare. Apare, this word keeps coming. It means others, others. Niyataharaha. Niyatahara. Ahara means diet, intake. Niyata, who have a regulated intake or diet. Pranan praneshu juhvati. Juhvati. They offer pranas in prana. They offer pranas in prana. And this is their yajna. Sarve api ete yajna vidaha. All of these knowers of yajna, knowers of sacrifice, yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Their sins are destroyed by this sacrifice, right? So all these knowers of sacrifice, their sins are destroyed by sacrifice. What does this mean? Some people offer this yajna of moderation in eating. Moderation in eating. And this moderation in eating, what does it mean? Two things. One is the timing. Sometimes we eat so out of time, right? We eat our lunch at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and dinner at 9 o'clock. We eat so much out of time. So niyatahara means timing in eating. And the second is the quantity in eating and the quality in eating. The quantity, when I spoke about Brahmarpanam, I had shared with you that the Ayurvedic Shastras say 1/2 of our stomach should be filled with solid food, 1/4 water, 1/4 let it breathe. Don't eat we come here. Our body system has a natural process. It burps. When we burp, that means stop, right? That itself is a reverse process. It's saying stop. So niyatahara is eat as much as it's required. Every body, the way it's composed is different. So eat according to what we need. And of course, the quality of the food we eat, as fresh as possible. Why is this important? This is important because food affects our pranas. They affect our pranas. How so? Our pranas such as digestion. Okay, first we'll take digestion, right? This is samana. If we eat too heavy, that the whole digestive system slows down and then we feel very sleepy. We feel very sleepy and we cannot function. So this affects our digestion. Then circulation, vyana. When we also eat things that are very difficult to digest, it cannot form the blood in our system. It won't provide us nutrients in our system. It will just create more waste. So the quality of eating also, it makes our circulation, it makes the nutrients carried to the bones, to the muscle, etc. It makes that easier. It makes that more fluid rather than all waste or all things that are toxic. Then our inhalation and exhalation. Our food also affects that, right? If we eat too light, then the stomach keeps growling and growling and growling. We cannot think. We cannot remember. We cannot understand anything, like Shwetaketu in Chandogya Upanishad. Then, of course, excretion, reproduction, all of this. Reproduction, we know when ladies are pregnant, women are pregnant, they're eating, they have to eat so much more because now they're eating for two. And excretion also, what we eat, it affects our excretion. So all of the things that we eat, it affects the pranas. So when we are moderate in eating, are careful about the quantity and quality, then our pranas are able to function better. And when they function better, we offer the pranas in the pranas. Now, what do you mean you offer the pranas in the pranas? When we eat and we let's say our inhalation, we eat moderately, and our inhalation, exhalation is regulated, then all other pranas function well. If one prana functions well, all other pranas function well. So it's offering that one prana into all other pranas. And this makes our system fluid, makes it whole, it makes it easy, and we become more efficient in our study and in our practice. So this is also one other yajna. Now, someone might say, then what is the point of enumerating and elaborating all of these yajnas? Sri Krishna, why are you telling us this? He says, Sarve api ete. All of these yajna vidahas. Yajna vidahas doesn't only mean the knowers of yajna, not only those who know what yajna is, but also those who perform and practice these yajnas, these 12 yajnas that were mentioned, and more. Because Sri Krishna is saying, I have to complete 4th chapter. So I'm only going to give you 12 yajnas. Other yajnas will come in the other chapters. So all of these yajnas here, all of these sacrifices, all of these sadhanas, all of these things that we do that are offered to the higher, yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Kalmasha means sin, impurity. Kshapita, they destroy impurities. So these yajnas destroy impurities, and that's why we do them. That's why we perform them. So now Sri Krishna is saying, but there's something more that I want to tell you about these yajnas, right? Not only the knowers and the performers of these yajnas are purified, but I also want to add something. So let us see verse 31, what he wants to add. Yajna shishtamrita bhujaha. Yajna shishtamrita bhujaha. Yanti brahma sanatanam.
Yanti brahma sanatanam.
Nayam lokostya yajnasya.
Nayam lokostya yajnasya.
Kutonyah kuru sattama.
Kudonyas kuru sattama.
Yajna shishtamrita bhujaha. Yanti brahma sanatanam. Nayam lokostya yajnasya. Kutonyah kuru sattama. Well, he wants to say one more thing, Arjuna, I must tell you. You are Kurusattama. Kurusattama, you are the best of the Kurus. Yajna shishtamrita bhujaha yanti brahma sanatanam. We will see this line first. This compound, Yajna shishtamrita bhujaha. Bhujaha means, it's Sanskrit, you have to read from the back. Bhujaha, the eaters of amrita, of this immortal nectar. Shishta, the eaters of the remnants of this immortal nectar of yajna, they also go to Brahma. Yanti Brahma, they go to Brahma. Which Brahma? Eternal Brahma. What is this yajna shishtamrita bhujaha? So not only the performers of the yajna, not only the knowers of the yajna, but also those who assist yajnas. There will be sometimes that people perform pujas, right? Many people in their homes, they perform puja, yajna, homa, all of that. So they are performing the yajna. But what about the people who made one platter of curd rice, or somebody made some payasam and brought it for the puja? What about them? Yajna shishtamrita puja. They also attain that Brahma. They also attain that Brahma. So it's not only the ones who actually perform the sacrifice, all those who are involved. In the Bhagavad Gita yajna that we had on Saturday, not only the ones who chanted, but even the ones who fixed the mic, even the ones who brought the food, even the ones who came there to fix the chairs, even the little kids who are carrying all the things. They're also Yajna Shrishtamrita Bhujaha. They're also that. When Sri Rama was building the bridge, Setu, the Vanaras were building the bridge. So Vanaras are building, they're doing all of that. They're getting all the credit. And the squirrel said, what about us? So Sri Rama said, you go, you roll in the mud and you fill in the gaps of the rocks. And that is your yajna. So every single person who is part of the yajna, yanti brahma sanatanam. And this is very beautiful. You know, one of our Swamijis mentioned that for sadhus, bhiksha and atanam is their dharma. Bhiksha means they beg for food, and atanam, walking. You know, before, back in the day, people used to leave their homes open. They used to have these verandas outside where sadhus would come and stay, and they would provide food and everything, and that was the culture. Actually, sadhus are supposed to do that. They're supposed to stay and they're supposed to seek bhiksha, because that is the way that people learn. Otherwise, how will people learn about Bhagavan? How people learned back in the day was a lot of them were homeschooled. A lot of children were schooled through sadhus coming to visit them. Through sadhus coming every now and then, they would learn bhajans, they would hear chanting, they would listen to stories. And that's what kindled their mumukshutvam. That's what kindled the fire in them. So everyone who partakes in this process, where one is performing any kind of sacrifice, that person also becomes purified. And all of the beings, the knowers, the performers, the ones who assist, they also become purified. Zoom is also getting punya now. Unknowingly, Zoom is also getting punya, right? They also become purified. And through that pure mind, they are able to gain knowledge. And through that knowledge, they are able to reach that ultimate Brahman. Yanti Brahma Sanatnam. So this is very beautiful. Then in the second line, I'll just touch upon it. He says, Na ayam lokaha. He says, in this world, na asti. In this world, ayam lokaha, in this world, na asti. Na asti what? Na asti means this spirit of fulfillment is not there. For whom? Ayagnyasya. For one who doesn't perform yajna, they do not become fulfilled in their lives. They lose out. They lose out on this process of purification. Those that do not take up any yajna. And all our yajnas are free. Huh? You don't need to purchase anything. They're all free. The one who doesn't perform any yajna, they are missing out. Please tell them there's FOMO. If you don't perform yajna, then there's a fear of missing out. They're missing out. Kutahanya, and what to talk about other worlds, other realms. Surely they will not benefit from that, because even in this very life itself, they will not find fulfillment. Without the ability to share, to give, to love others, we will never find fulfillment. We will not find fulfillment in selfish living, but we will find utmost fulfillment in giving ourselves. That is the message of Bhagavad Gita. All right. So with this, we conclude this yajna section. I'll say the closing prayer. Then I will make one announcement, and then those who have questions can stay back. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay, now